Hello, this is Kate, and this is week 10 for the gray team in the non-competitive league that I play in. I've got 3 games again this week as I picked up a sub game to finish off the week. Up first, we have the first game of the week, which was my gray team versus the red team. As always, I don't keep track of the scores on screen, but you'll find the final score in the description. There was one unfortunate thing I noticed once I got these new skates, and that was I started all of a sudden getting bruises on my knees, and it was hurting to go down in butterfly. And this game was the game when I finally figured out why that was. And what was happening was the new skates, the way the pads sit on them, they were sitting lower for whatever reason. And so when I was going down in butterfly, I was actually landing with my knee halfway off the top of the block. So, I have the top edge of the knee block just digging into my knee every time I go down on it. So what I ended up having to do after this game was I had taken off my bootstrap. And so I actually had to put it back on my pads. So now my pads do have a bootstrap because it's the only way I can raise them high enough so that I land properly on the knee block. So every once in a while you see me in this game looking down at my pads trying to figure out why my knees hurt so much. This goal is a tough one because the puck basically slams off my ear and goes in the net. So to start with, this is a very well-placed shot and a very hard shot to save as a goalie. Obviously, if I'm luckier or have better glove position, my best chance is to catch this puck before it hits my helmet. I mean, the best chance to make that catch is obviously going to be with a 580 glove where the pocket is kind of more tilted towards your ear for those nice over-the-shoulder saves, and that is not the kind of glove I have right now. I did try and butt my head as quickly as I could to the side to at least push the puck wide, but I didn't have a lot of time to react here, and, a well-placed shot is... I'm not going to get that one most of the time anyways. I was very confused at first why they called this icing off, as I did not realize there were only a few seconds left in the period. I do like that I looked up a couple times to make sure I was going to be playing the puck somewhere where my own players were, but that is the end of the first period. Checking for broken buckles. And another one right off the face. Kept this one out though. And a little extra appreciation for that one. This goal ends up being so frustrating because I have the clear advantage to make this save. It's such a sharp angle shot, but my positioning is just so sloppy that the puck manages to deflect off the cuff of my glove and go straight down to the 5-hole, which is obviously wide open. So it's definitely one I should have had. I knew I should have had it, and it just went all fluky on me, and because I was not fully committed to sealing up, I got burned, basically. And it's always extra scary when the puck deflects 100% in the opposite direction that you're expecting it to go. Must have just clipped the left edge of my blocker or something. I'm not the best with my footwork, but I really like what I'm doing here. As far as what I'm capable of, I think this is a really well-handled shot. I'm actually keeping myself square with the puck as she goes aside instead of drifting backwards and keeping my shoulders up ice, and so I come away with an easy save. I was clearly not going to do the same thing here, but lucky for me, she shot early while I was still mostly square. And that's the end of the second period. A nice blocker save to start the third. And nice to see the puck deflecting in the proper direction. It was a nice save with a scary rebound here. Would have definitely been in a better position for any follow-up shots if I had managed to stay upright Definitely playing a bit sloppily, but I think it was because I had that constant thought in my head that every time I went down in butterfly, it hurt my knees. So I think that's partially what was leading to the bit of a sloppy play that I have going on here. Yeah, you can definitely see that it's hurting. And here's also one of the times when I was checking where my knees were on the block and seeing that they were definitely resting way too high up. Bit unconventional, but yeah, the save and no rebound, so we'll take it. I would have liked maybe to attack a bit further out here, but I am glad that I am square to the puck and I didn't stay suctioned to the post. Need a bit more purpose with my movements here. I am fortunate enough to at least get a toe on the shot, so just barely kept that one out. And that is the end of game one. Overall, I think I played all right in this one. I made a lot of good saves, followed the puck well most of the time. There were some moments where I was certainly a bit slow, a bit sloppy with my movements, but I think that for the most part that can be chalked up to the fact that my knees were becoming increasingly more sore as the game went on. Luckily, I was able to fix that by the next game and go back to, normal wear and tear and not like constant bruises. But on to the next game, which was my gray team versus the black team. Now with 100% more Bootstrap. Sorry for the horrible camera angle in this game. In this one and the follow-up sub-game, something must have hit the camera. It was tilted a little bit more down than it normally is, and I did not notice until I got it home and was looking at the footage. When you're so puck focused that you accidentally knock the puck away from your own player and straight to the other team. Saw the stick there ready to take that puck away, and I did not know which team it belonged to, and I was not taking any chances, and then managed to make everything worse. Which is why it's very important to make checks so you know where all the players are and which one are your own and which one are the ones that are going to shoot. Nice clear there, though. Not a very forceful poke check, but it worked. I was afraid for a second that I tripped my defenseman. And that's the end of the first period. This is something that to the eye is very minor, but it is something I did notice about the new skates. Something I wasn't able to do before this is that here when I hit the post and I start over rotating, and before I would have just kept going. But now that I have better control of my blades and edges, I was able to use that trailing leg to stop myself from continuing to rotate to the side. Just a really small thing, but it does make a big difference when you can do little minor things like that a lot easier. Did well to hold my ground here and ended up being in a really good position to take the shot on the breakaway. My legs were just long enough here, and I definitely got a little bit of luck on my side on the rebound. And I definitely got lucky on this play. I did have the puck under my glove for a split second, and it got knocked out by one of the forwards. And fortunately, that cover of the puck got me a very quick whistle. Otherwise, that would have been a goal for sure. And partially, I'm not used to people attacking my glove in this league, so I probably need to be more careful about protecting myself from people digging into my glove. I honestly didn't know if this puck had gone in or not. I didn't see it go in, and by the time I found the puck, it was sitting on the goal line. So I wasn't fully aware of the error that had occurred here, but yeah, got a little good karma on that one. And that's the end of the second period. I actually got a good laugh from pretty much everyone over this one because I waited so long to cover the puck, but I was like, I was waiting to see if anyone wanted it. Nobody ever wants it. One of my biggest struggles playing goaltender is keeping my feet planted. I tend to drift around a lot, and it really impedes my ability to, one, stay at the top of the crease, and two, get good pushes when I want to change directions to make saves. But this here is an example. For once, I have my feet fairly well planted, and so I'm actually able to push back sort of against the grain a little bit and make the save. Whereas if I'm drifting, it's a lot harder to make that shift in direction. I also like how I square up here and get some nice height to make this save. You know, it's better to be making saves on the ice with my pads up against the post, but in a pinch, the blocker did all right. This goal was unfortunate because while I did get over in time to have a chance at the backdoor shot, I was expecting the shot to come a lot sooner. And so I went down too soon expecting the shot, and then she held onto it so long that by the time she did shoot, I was completely hung out to dry, and it was my own fault. If I get over there and square up and wait for her to make the shot, then I'd probably get this one, honestly. I had enough time to get over there and just face it like a normal shot. But yeah, I made a mistake making assumptions instead of just seeing what happens. And they scored. And one last shot at the buzzer, and that is the end of the second game of week 10. Played all right in this one. Had a lot of puck luck, especially in the second period there. So that did me a lot of favors for sure. I did have some things I was really happy with in this game, and yeah, really not too much to complain about. We'll just move on to the last game of week 10, which was a sub game. I was subbing for light blue, and we were playing against the red team, which I had just faced a couple days before with my gray team. This game was on the other ice surface, so I actually had a 30-minute break before I had to go on for this one. But sadly, still, the camera is out of whack and tilted a bit too far down. I do fix it by the next game, and I'm very aware of checking the camera angle now when I hang it up on the glass. Very good job here, getting my pad to the post to make this save. Not relying on my blocker to do it this time. Definitely should have been able to contain that puck. I did not see who hit this puck all the way down the ice because I was cleaning the snow out of my crease. I did check both refs and found no arms up, so I just went ahead and stopped it for my teammate. Nice use of the stick here to put the puck into the corner. I do love the sound of a shaft save. And my butterfly slides are becoming a lot easier. I was definitely not expecting Red to sneak around for that surprise shot there. Should definitely probably be a bit more prepared in those situations. And that's the end of the first period. And in a extremely rare occurrence, the other goalie tried to convince me to leave my camera down there. The bad angle's even worse at this end. Well, that was something. I'm glad it was bouncing so wildly when past the forward waiting for the puck. This series was really nice. I was really happy to come away with the initial breakaway save, and then I was able to swat the follow-up shot away with my paddle. It's very nice. Definitely gave me a nice burst of confidence. This is a fine save here, but it definitely would have been a better choice to use my stick to deflect the puck off to the corner instead of just relying on my pad. And that's the end of the second period. This one defenseman ends up laughing at me because I was not expecting the puck to take the route that it took, and I ended up having to kick out my toe to make this save. And so I just went, oh shit, when I suddenly had to rethink how I was going to make this save. And I know that I've got this pad mostly off the ice, so there's always that worry it's going to sneak in. I do a great job of getting over and squaring up on this one and giving the shooter absolutely nothing to shoot at. And same thing on the other side. I had my paddle on the ice here, and I absolutely should have been able to intercept this pass to the top of the crease. I was a bit too slow, and it leads to this absolute train wreck of a situation, which also involves me failing to smother the puck and then flailing about. I actually did see the puck go into the white jersey player's arms, and I thought that the puck was safely tucked in there, and I did not know that it went straight under and out the other side. How that whole situation didn't end up any worse is beyond me. It's embarrassing to watch. This goal, I mean, it's posted in, so it's always going to be tough for me to get. It's just really well placed. I don't like the flail of my arm trying to get a hold of this puck. The biggest thing that I can work on a shot like this is that I let myself basically lock into the post. I should have been out more closer to the top of the crease to cut off the angle here, and then she has a harder time getting to the post without me intercepting it. But I mean, overall, it's just a really well-placed shot that I failed to get hold of. And then this goal, well, I mean, it's a 2-on-0. I do a really good job to get the initial save, but because of how I have to stretch to make the first save, I end up with the worst possible rebound right to the trailing player, and there's really not a lot I was able to do about that. Even though this shot ultimately gets blocked by the defenseman, I did a really good job of getting over to this pass and squaring up. I even managed to set my feet and everything. And that is the end of the sub game and the end of week 10. As always, the scores for these games will be in the description if you're curious. Overall, I think I played pretty well this week. There was an unfortunate ending to this game, those 2 quick goals right at the end. But overall, I think I'm playing really well this week. The skates are definitely helping me with my footwork and sort of doing things I wasn't as able to do when my skates were much too large for my feet. I was glad to figure out why my knees were bruising so much and able to remedy that problem by putting the bootstrap back on and letting my pads sit higher on my legs. But overall, yeah, I think my positioning is doing really well. My footwork's getting better, and I'm, pretty happy with my improvements so far. But always looking to get a little bit better each time I go out. Anyways, thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you next time.